Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video it's gonna be my very first ever story time on this channel. And before I start, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for the support on the channel so far. As of last month, I gained 5 subscribers, and about an hour ago I gained another subscriber, and I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for the support. And yeah guys, let's get straight into the video. Since it's my very first ever story time, I want to do 2 stories in one. And the 2 stories, one of the stories is how I met my real mom, and the second story is the longest surgery of my life. And then, yeah, guys, let's get straight into it. So at the age of 7, I found out, that the woman that I was living with wasn't my real mom. So, at that age, I was like, okay. And as the years went by and my family asked me what I wanted for my birthday or for Christmas, I was just like, I want to see my real mom. I want to meet her. I want to get to know her. But that didn't happen until I was 13. So I started getting like really sick and stuff like that, guys. And they got really bad to a point where I had ended up in the emergency room 4 times in 1 month. And it was just really bad. And basically, what I was getting, I don't know if you guys have ever had this or experienced it, but what I was getting were called UTIs. That's the medical term for them. And what it is, it's basically they're just urine infections. That's what they are. So the last time I had gone to the emergency room, they had ended up telling me like, hey, look, we can only give you antibiotics slash medicine to like calm your symptoms down or make them go away for a bit, but we can't cure like your actual problem that you have. So they ended up sending me to this university, and there they ran a bunch of tests. I hated it. They ran a bunch of tests, and basically they ended up telling me that I needed an emergency surgery and a very big surgery in order for them to cure what was going on and stuff like that, and to stop all the UTIs from happening really frequent and stuff like that. So the doctor had basically given me 2 options. Once I met him, he was like, you either have the option of one, not get the surgery and be at risk of losing your kidneys and having other problems, or two, you know, getting the surgery. And obviously, I was like, I want to get the surgery. So, in order for that to happen, he was like, well, if you want the surgery, we need your real parents' signatures. And I was like, what do you mean? And basically, my aunt and my grandma ended up explaining to me that um, DCFS had taken me away from my real mom at the age of 1 because she was a druggie. And how to explain it? And like the way they found out about me, or why they came to pick me up and took me away from her, was because she was spending all her money on drugs, and she really couldn't afford to live anywhere. So the landlords always kept kicking her out of wherever she moved because she didn't have the money in order to pay off the rent and stuff like that. So we always kept moving from place to place constantly. And I guess finally someone called the CFS on her, and when they came to take me away, um I guess they like stopped and thought. They were like, what if we leave him with his dad's side of the family? Because at that time, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe my dad didn't even know I was born yet, or like he didn't even know I existed. So basically, DCFS came to his house, but by then he had gotten kicked out of the house, and it was just his parents. And so they answered the door, and DCFS was like, hey, would you want to adopt? Or not adopt, but take care of your son's kid. And they were like, yeah, they agreed right away. So yeah, that's how I got taken away from her, and the reason why. So yeah, so you know, since the age of 1, I've been living with my grandparents, and they ended up explaining to me that because DCFS did that, they weren't able to get full custody of me right away. So basically, I was gonna have to get in contact with my real mom in order for excuse me, in order for me to have the surgery. So came the day, met my mom. I met her before she had to sign like papers and stuff like that. It was a pretty emotional meeting, I guess you can say, but back then I was in a very delusional state, thinking that I was gonna have like a real mother-son relationship type of thing. And yeah, that didn't happen. But basically, when we went to the hospital so that she could sign the papers and stuff like that, we found out that she's had children with the same issues that I was getting, because I didn't know that like gets passed down from family members, if that makes any sense. I personally did not know that, but eventually it clicked to me like, oh, no wonder every time I kept going to the emergency room, they kept asking my grandma like, hey, do any of your family members suffer from what's like going on with him? And they were always saying like, nope, not us, no, we're good. So, and the doctors kept thinking it was weird. And yeah, and it got to a point where, she was there, they asked her. She was just like, yeah, I have, kids that suffer from this, who have lost their lives and who have lost kidneys to, these crazy things. And I was like, what the fuck? And both me and my grandma and my aunt, we were like, bro, what the hell? Why didn't you tell us this? But yeah, that was 12 years later, since they took me away when I was one. Um, but yeah, guys, she gave consent to the surgery. The day of the surgery came. Well, before this, since everybody knew the recovery process was gonna be long, because it was a very big surgery. It was actually a 10-hour surgery. Um, Before the surgery date, my aunt took me shopping for stuff that I was gonna need slash want to keep me comfortable in recovery, because I was gonna have to stay there for quite a while recovering. Um, and we went shopping, and then fast forward, we're at the date of the official surgery, and the surgery was gonna happen like really early. I believe it was around 7 o'clock when it started. Um, but all I remember was the day of the surgery came, and we had to go to the hospital like early. Like we had to be there like at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I remember waking up around 4, getting everything ready. I had all my bags packed and stuff like that. And the people who were there with me, I believe, were my godparents, my aunt, and my grandma. And when we went, we were escorted to like this different part of the hospital that I hadn't seen. It was like a surgery type of like lobby and stuff like that, if that makes any sense, like where you wait to get called for surgery. But the place was actually really nice. It was really big and really nice. Like half of it was how to explain it? And half of it there was like a little church where you could pray for your family members to have like a fast recovery, stuff like that. And on the other half of it, like to the left, um, of this huge room, all of it was glass. So we're just chilling like around that area. Like I said, it was like a really big like waiting area. There was couches and stuff like that and chairs. And there was also like a little church. And then there was clerk desk and stuff like that, and a bunch of waiting chairs and stuff like that. But it was kind of nice, to be honest, in the beginning, because when we first got there, we were just watching the sunrise. And yeah, guys, we were just waiting there for like an hour, and then it was getting close to when I was about to get called, and my godmother and my grandma took out like these rosaries and started like praying and stuff like that, and I was just like, why are you doing this? Believe it or not, I actually was not scared of this surgery. I have no idea why, but after that surgery, I've had other surgeries and I have been scared of those. But this really big surgery, I have no idea why I wasn't scared. But basically, it got to the point where we're in the waiting room. They called my name, and only one person could go with me to get ready for surgery. And my aunt ended up going. We got into this little room It was a really, really small room now that I think about it. It was just like a hospital bed and a little chair next to it, curtain, and like behind the hospital bed there were like oxygen tanks, stuff like that. And it was a really small room. And basically a nurse came and she ended up telling me like, oh, first thing we want you to do is remove all your clothes, put all your belongings, all your personal belongings in this bag. Because if you've never had a surgery, that's what they make you do. They make you like remove all your clothes and everything you have on you. Like even if you have your wallet or phone, it's up to you if you want to put them in the bag. But I know you have to put your clothes in the bag. So I did that, and and once I did that, the nurse came back. I have no idea where the bag went. I think they just gave it to my aunt, but I just like didn't realize it. Then about like two nurses came. One nurse was just a regular nurse, and then another nurse was in charge of fudge. What is it called? Of the anesthesia. I think that's how you call it. The thing that puts you to sleep. The medication that puts you to sleep for the surgery. And there's two ways that they can put you to sleep for a surgery. There's the mask and the weird air they make you breathe in to make you fall asleep. And then they can also give you medication through an IV. And if you don't know what an IV is, it's just a needle that they put in your arm and it has to go into your vein and they tape it to your arm, stays there for a while. And that's what they ended up doing. They actually ended up giving me about 2 IVs. The first IV was, I forgot what they said it was. One IV was for this type of like liquid slash medication so that my body wouldn't get dehydrated during the surgery, because again it was a 10-hour surgery. And the other one, and I was kind of mad because they didn't tell me this. The other freaking IV that they gave me was for the anesthesia, but for some reason the nurse didn't tell me it was for the anesthesia. They just told me it was like another bag of liquid so that my body would stay hydrated during the surgery. And I was getting ready. I had to even put on this little cap. I don't know what the little cap does, honestly. But I had to put on this little cap. I had my gown on and everything. And it was kind of weird because again they didn't tell me it was anesthesia, and the anesthesia was already like kicking in. But the last thing I remember was the nurse coming into the room. My aunt was holding my hand, and the last thing I remember was my aunt saying, "We love you, good luck," and she was crying, and the nurse came behind the bed, took off the brakes, and started like pushing me away to the surgery room. And that was the last memory I had before the surgery, because as soon as she came into the room and she unlocked the brakes and she started pushing me towards the operating room, I was slowly falling asleep, and that's the last thing I remember. My aunt saying, "We love you," letting go of my hand. She was crying, and the nurse pushing me away to the operating room. And yeah, guys. Those were the stories of how I met my mom and my biggest surgery that I've ever had so far in my life. And I'll talk about my recovery and what happened after the surgery on another story time, because we are at 14 minutes so far and I do not have a lot of room in my phone left. So hopefully it'll let me upload this video. Yeah, guys, if you didn't know, I record all of my videos on my phone until I save up for an actual camera. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening to this story. If you stood towards the end, thank you guys so much. And yeah, guys, I really hope you guys have a great day or night whenever you watch this video. And yeah, guys, thank you so much. Love you guys all. Deuces, and don't forget, YOLO, guys.